folks, welcome back to part 2 of making the sign. I'm going to be using this acrylic sort of blue, and that's going to be the sub-layer behind the Aeon sign that I cut out the last time, so I'm just going to get straight into it and start cutting it. So as there's quite a bit of cutting to done, I've sped up most of the cutting so we just blast through it. To start with, I'm just cutting out the letters for laser, and then we'll move on to the next part, which is the logo and the word Aeon. So unfortunately, I don't have a piece of acrylic that is wide enough to do the Aeon logo in one piece, so I've had to split it. It's fine though, because it's going to be behind the black shape, which is all one piece, which will hide any discrepancies in the final project. So I'm just going to cut that out now. So I've sped this up to 15 times the cut speed, just so we can blast through this, because there's quite a lot to cover. You can just make out where it's cutting. That's down to the fact that it's got a protective layer on the acrylic. So now that that's all cut out, then we're going to move on and do the backboards for the signs themselves. This one I'm just doing the laser word. You can see I'm just lightly scoring the word laser onto the board there, so I know where the positioning is going to be, and then I'll go back because I actually forgot to include the holes for the light bulbs that are going to illuminate this sign. So now that that board's cut out, then we're just going to move on to the main board and the backing for the Aeon word itself. I had to do this in 2 steps. I had to remove the Aeon backing board after I'd cut it out, so that I could do the holes for the main triangle logo itself, because where the centre line was cutting through, it would have cut semicircles out the bottom of the Aeon sign. So here you can see I've went back in and I've added the holes in after removing that Aeon backing board. I should say that this is cutting through 6mm MDF, so it's handling it not a problem at all. It's just zipping its way through. Here you can see I'm just cutting out a few rectangles of MDF that I can use to attach both halves of those triangles together, just so they stay in one piece basically. So now that everything's cut out, it's just a case of gluing everything up, and I actually snapped the S here, pulling the protective layer off, but it's all good. Where it's going, I can glue it together and it'll be fine. So we'll just speed run through this and then get the glue started. Now that that's all the protective layer off, then I can just put them together with some CA glue. I'm just applying dots on the acrylic in between the holes for the light bulbs so that I don't block them, and then I sandwich both pieces together. Now that that's the laser word done, it's just a case of rinse and repeat with the Aeon word, and then we can move on to the sign. You can see here I'm just double checking the orientation of each letter before I carry on. The O was the biggest hassle, to be honest with you, because it's not a perfect circle, so we have to get them spot on. And again, like I said before, it's just a case of the exact same as I did for the laser word, but a little bit more glue. Now that all these pieces are glued together, it's really starting to take shape, and we're going to move on to attaching the word laser on its backing board. So I thought when I was doing this that I'd be clever and try and use the cutouts from the acrylic and the MDF circles in the actual where the light bulbs are going, if that makes sense, to line up the letters. However, when I went to take them out again, unfortunately some of them got stuck, so I had to dig them out, which took a wee bit of time. I didn't show that on camera because it's pretty boring. I did the exact same for the Aeon backing board, and I got some of them stuck as well. So now you can see me just attaching those rectangles that I cut out earlier, and that'll just hold both those halves together, which will allow us to move on to putting the acrylic on the front and then the triangle on top of that. It's always so satisfying just peeling this stuff off. I love it. It's great fun. So now that I've got those two bits positioned and orientated the right way, we'll just get some glue on it, same as it did for the letters. And then gently and carefully line them up so we don't get smudged glue all over the place. Yep, a bit like that, Murray, well done. And then the same for that little section. And again, once I get the black piece on top, you'll not see these cuts anywhere, which makes it look like one whole piece. Here I'm just applying some more glue to the top surface and then putting the black layer on top. So now that everything's set and all the glue is dry, we're just going to go in with a hot glue gun and these LED bulbs. It's Christmas lights actually that I got just after Christmas on the sale, and each hole gets a bulb, and then the rest just get tucked in behind, which illuminates the back of the sign, which will look quite smart when it's up on the wall as well. I found this process quite time consuming, so I just had some Mr. Ballin on YouTube on my phone playing in the background, so I had something to listen to. What do you like to listen to when you're working? Do you do podcasts, or do you listen to some music or the radio, or what do you listen to? What do you keep yourself amused with on some of the more tedious tasks of crafting? So again, it was just a case of rinse and repeat for each of the other two boards that I had to do. So the Aeon sign and the laser word sign itself, and then unfortunately my camera decided it was going to stop recording, unfortunately. So I have to say I'm really happy with the final results for this sign. I think it looks awesome up on the wall in my shed, and it's a definite bonus addition for filming and stuff. Hopefully you found some parts of this video really helpful, and if you have, please drop me a like and hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel, and you can see what else I'm going to be making in the future, or have a look at my past videos. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.